Thank you guys for joining us for the Atlanta Falcons pregame show presented by Ticketmaster. I'm your host, Taylor Vismor. Joined with me, like he will be all season, Derek Rackley. And we got the red helmet out today. We're in the throwback uniforms. How does it feel to be back in Mercedes-Benz?
Well, first of all, I love this.
Well, the NFL has hit its trade deadline. By 4 p.m. Tuesday, all trades between teams had to be finalized, and the Falcons got in on the trade frenzy.
See, I'm giving you plenty of buffer room.
I'm so happy about that. I can definitely fill in the lines, color within the lines.
So it's a long time between the championship game and then the Super Bowl. Lots of media, like we've discussed, lots of headlines. But on the Saturday night and Sunday morning, there were a lot of headlines regarding the Falcons and decisions that were made off the field. For you as the team and preparing for one of the biggest games in your life, how did those decisions off the field change the way that you prepared for the Super Bowl?
They had 11 plays in their first drive last week. That was the most plays in a first drive the Falcons have had all season long. The question is now, can they continue to do it? And instead of a field goal, which is what they finished with last week, can we finish with a touchdown and be the first on the board this week?
Yeah.
Your speed is better, much better. What do you think?
At least an 80.
No. I'll give it like 73, 72.
84. Quick guy. Quick guy right here. You said you wanted to have 5 interceptions this season. You have 6. You have broken every major statistical category for yourself this season. What's different for you this season?
His whole season with the Commanders and then with the Bears, he has 12.5 sacks on the season. How do you stop the production of Montez Sweat?
Yeah, it's interesting.
The day might find sir.
You can see it on game day, you can see it on the field and at practice too, that y'all are feeding off of each other. What is it like to have someone next to you that you get to feed off of the entire game?
I haven't been fortunate to have that other corner across from me.
Here's the thing that hurts Minshew today. Michael Pittman, the wide receiver. Every quarterback has a wide receiver one. They have a guy they like to throw to who's money every time you get him the ball. He will be out today. He was on concussion protocol. Earlier last week was elevated off of that concussion protocol, took the flight down to Atlanta. When he got down here, he said, I feel a little dizzy.
Yep.
They put him back on concussion protocol. He will not be playing today.
Yeah.
I want to talk really quickly about the Dirty Bird. There's been a lot of speculation about who actually started it. And before we lay it to rest, let's look at the dance that started a cultural phenomena.
Hey, that
So
question.
I'm a salty person. I
You
don't
are.
love sweets.
Okay.
I'm always reaching for the saltiness.
Which is what? What's your
Oh
favorite?
gosh, like
Putting
chips.
you on the spot.
Like chips are my
Potato
thing. Or
chips.
like at the facility we have Brussels sprouts for lunch sometimes. They're all that sounds so ridiculous.
We talked
they
about
all-
salty and she goes to Brussels sprouts.
But they're so good.
And although the Falcons have been quiet since their first wave of free agents, they just made another big splash. The Atlanta Falcons have signed veteran defensive lineman Calais Campbell after his release from the Ravens in early March. The 36-year-old has spent 15 seasons in the NFL and is one of the most seasoned players in the league. But don't let his age throw you off. In the last 3 seasons with the Ravens, Campbell had his best season last year. A lot of interception issues when he was in Kentucky in college. How can this Falcons defense, who got the interception last week, thank you, Richie Grant, I really appreciate you listening to the pregame show.
How long, on average, ballpark, does it take to paint this field for a game?
On an overnight, we can get it down to 8-10 hours, but we'll have everybody running around doing a bunch of different things.
For the whole field?
For the whole field.
I mentioned earlier, the secondary as a whole has been really impressive to me over this week and a half. Just the pressures that they've been adding on the wide receivers, on that run game as well, on the tight ends. I mean, you mentioned it. I mean, you name a player, they've put pressure on them. And following the Week 18 loss to the New Orleans Saints, the Atlanta Falcons have dismissed Arthur Smith as the team's head coach. Smith was named head coach in January of 2021 and led the team for 3 seasons. During his tenure, the Falcons finished with identical 7-10 records each year. Well, the reports were correct. The Falcons have hired Raheem Morris from the Los Angeles Rams. Morris is the 19th head coach for the Atlanta Falcons starting in the 2024 season. Morris spent the last 3 seasons with the Rams, including their 2021 Super Bowl season. That was such a big question mark going into this week is, will the Saints win? If the Saints do win, then they can be tied with the Falcons if they win against the Buccaneers. But now that the Saints have lost, the Falcons are now looking at possibly having sole possession of first first place in the NFC South, which is a huge thing to then go to Tennessee with and have 2 back-to-back road games, like you mentioned. Haven't won on the road in a long time. Desmond Ridder has never seen a road game win as the starting quarterback for the Falcons. And something else to note about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they've won 1 game at home. You look at this rivalry and then you look at what's to come and what has to happen today for both teams. I think it's going to be one of the loudest they've heard the stadium probably all season, because both of these teams are looking to win today. And obviously, Bijan Robinson went 8th overall to the Atlanta Falcons, but just 4 picks after that, Jahmyr Gibbs went to the Detroit Lions. And today, those rookie running backs will face each other for the first time in their NFL careers.
But something I took from that Arthur Smith presser that really stood out to me was how much he praised Coach Mike Petrie, of how great of a teacher he is. And I think it really, not just for Bijan, but I mean, look at Tyler Algier. I mean, in his rookie year, he had over 1,000 rushing yards. It's pretty incredible. Looking at Tyler Algier and then the offense as a whole, what excites you about this offense moving into this season?
And you get NFL action all day long, but it starts with the Falcons and the Jaguars.
That's right. If you didn't get enough college football action on Saturday, you get the entire day of the NFL on Sunday too. But before we talk about the London games and what this game could mean for the Falcons, let's go back to last week and talk about Detroit just very quickly.
Let's see how I did with the red. Did I? Thank you. Thank you.